All right, today we are tackling a huge topic, our planet. We're going to be diving into what's called Earth system science, which is really just a way of understanding how our entire world works as one gigantic connected machine. Okay, let's get into it.
So, let me ask you something. When you think about the Earth, what's the first image that comes to mind? For a lot of us, it's this big blue marble, just a ball of rock and water floating out there in space. But is that really the whole story?
Well, the short answer is a big, emphatic no. Our planet is so much more than that. It's a single, living, breathing system where every single piece is connected, constantly interacting in this incredibly complex dance.
And this way of looking at the big picture, of trying to understand the rules of how our world actually works, that's what we call Earth system science.
So what does that mean, really? Well, it means studying our planet as a system of four main parts, or spheres. A really easy way to think about them is like the planet's vital organs. You've got the atmosphere, which is all the air, the hydrosphere, all the water, the lithosphere, that's the solid land, and the biosphere, which is, well, all the living things.
So, let's properly meet these four major players in our planet's story. Because once you get to know these building blocks, you'll start to see exactly how they all fit together. First up, we have the atmosphere. This is that invisible blanket of air and gases wrapped around the entire planet. It's not just empty space. Heck no. It's what gives us our weather, our climate, and it holds the very air you're breathing in right now.
Next up is the hydrosphere. This is literally all the water on Earth. And I mean all of it. We're talking the giant oceans, the rivers, the ice caps, the glaciers, and even the water vapor that's floating around in the air above us. If it's H2O, it's part of the hydrosphere.
Then, we have the lithosphere. This is the solid ground right under your feet. It's the rocks, the soil, the huge mountains, and even the tectonic plates that are constantly, slowly reshaping the face of our world. It's the physical foundation for pretty much everything else.
And finally, there's the biosphere. This one's my favorite. It's the sphere of life. It covers every single living thing, from the tiniest little microbe you can't even see, all the way up to the blue whales. And, this is the important part, it includes us. We aren't just living on the Earth, we are a fundamental part of the Earth system. Okay, so now we have our four main parts. But what makes them do anything? What gets them moving? Well, that brings us to the engine that powers this entire planet, the flow of energy and the cycling of matter. It all starts with a simple yet incredibly powerful fact. Pretty much all the energy that powers life and systems on Earth comes from one place, the sun. That solar energy is what drives our weather, what moves massive ocean currents, and what allows plants to grow, kicking off the entire food chain.
So, how does all that energy get around? Well, it starts as radiation, zipping through space from the sun. Once it hits the Earth, that heat gets transferred by conduction. Like when you walk barefoot on hot pavement. But the real game changer is convection. That's when heat gets moved around by fluids like air and water. This is what creates our winds and our massive ocean currents. It's the Earth's circulatory system.
But hey, it's not just invisible energy that's on the move. The actual physical stuff that makes up our planet, the matter, is also in a constant state of motion. Nothing really stays in one place for very long.
And the perfect, classic example of this is the water cycle, right? Water from the hydrosphere gets heated up, evaporates into the atmosphere, it condenses up there to form clouds, and then, through precipitation, it comes back down to the land and water. It's this beautiful, perfect loop that connects all the spheres together.
So we've got the parts, we've got the engine. Now we get to the most important piece of the puzzle, interaction. Because in the Earth system, nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, happens in isolation. Let's look at a classic example. When a river flows over the land, that's the hydrosphere interacting with the lithosphere. But it's not just water getting the ground wet. Over time, the sheer force of that water carves through rock, creating vast canyons and shaping entire landscapes. You ever seen the Grand Canyon? Yeah, that's what happens when water and rock interact for a few million years.
Or how about this one? The biosphere, that's life, is constantly talking to the atmosphere. Every time a plant takes in carbon dioxide and releases oxygen, every time we breathe out, those aren't just things happening in the air. Those processes are actively creating and changing the very composition of our atmosphere. Life built the air we breathe. For billions of years, these systems ebbed and flowed in a kind of natural rhythm. But Pretty recently, geologically speaking, a brand new and incredibly powerful force got added to the equation. And that new force is us. Human activity has become so widespread, so powerful, that we are now a primary driver of change in every single one of Earth's systems, and we're doing it on a truly global scale.
And where do we see this? We see it everywhere. We see it in climate change, altering the fundamental balance of the atmosphere and the hydrosphere. We see it in pollution that affects our land, our water, and our air. And we see it in things like resource depletion and deforestation, which are direct hits on the lithosphere and the biosphere.
Now, this is really important. Our influence isn't just a one-way street toward destruction. The same brainpower and technology that allow us to alter these systems also give us the ability to understand them. And with that understanding comes the potential for sustainable practices, for conservation, and for environmental protection. Our influence can absolutely be a force for good.
Which really brings us to the big, final question. If we accept this idea that the Earth is one, single, deeply connected system, and that we are a powerful, active part of that system, then what does that mean for us? What is our role, and what is our responsibility within this incredible, intricate web of life, land, air, and water?